Hi, this is the English Adventure Podcast.
Relax and enjoy learning English. Many English learners know this moment. Someone asks you a very simple question,
You understand every word,
but answering naturally feels difficult.
especially when someone asks, How was your weekend?
So today, we'll show you how to talk about your weekend in simple, natural English.
Because this question appears everywhere.
Monday morning at work.
When you meet a friend.
Sometimes even when you meet someone new.
And what's interesting is that the question is very easy.
But the answer suddenly feels complicated.
Many learners start thinking about grammar,
Past tense,
sentence structure,
vocabulary.
and suddenly a very small question becomes stressful.
But in real life, most people answer this question in a very simple way.
Often with just one or two sentences.
That's the secret of small talk.
Small talk is not about giving a long story,
It's about sharing a small moment.
just enough to keep the conversation moving.
Let's imagine a typical Monday morning.
You walk into the office.
You're still a little sleepy.
Maybe you haven't had your coffee yet,
You walk past the coffee machine.
and you see a colleague there,
They smile.
and they ask the classic question.
How was your weekend?
Now, many English learners pause here,
Not because they don't understand the question.
but because they're searching for the perfect answer.
And that's where things become difficult.
Because the perfect answer doesn't exist.
In small talk, simple is better.
For example, many native speakers say something like, it was nice,
Or pretty relaxed.
or even just, good, thanks.
And then they add one small detail.
That small detail is what keeps the conversation alive.
Let's look at a simple example.
Someone asks you, how was your weekend?
You could say, it was really nice.
Then add a small detail.
For example, I met a friend for coffee.
2 sentences,
Very simple.
but very natural.
And now the other person has something to react to.
They might say, oh nice, where'd you go?
Or, that sounds fun.
And suddenly the conversation continues naturally.
This is how small talk grows.
One small sentence,
Plus one small detail.
that's usually enough.
Actually, something similar happened to me last weekend.
Oh really?
Yes, I met a friend on Saturday afternoon.
That sounds nice. What did you do?
We went to a small cafe near the park.
That already sounds like a perfect weekend answer.
Exactly. If someone asked me on Monday, how was your weekend?
You could say, it was really nice. I went to a cafe with a friend.
That's it.
Short
Natural?
and easy to understand.
What about you, Jack? What did you do last weekend?
Mine was very simple. On Sunday morning, I went for a long walk.
That actually sounds really relaxing.
It was, and that's also a perfect small talk answer.
What would you say?
Something like, it was pretty relaxed. I went for a long walk on Sunday.
Again, just 2 sentences.
But they give the other person something to respond to.
Maybe they will ask, where did you walk?
Or, was the weather nice?
And suddenly, you are in a real conversation.
So here's something important to remember.
Your weekend does not need to be exciting.
It doesn't have to be special.
Even very normal weekends are perfect for small talk.
For example, I watched the movie.
I visited my family.
I stayed home and relaxed.
All of these are completely natural answers.
Small talk is not about impressing people.
It's about sharing small parts of your life
Simple moments.
and simple sentences.
But there is one thing that makes weekend conversations much easier.
A small trick that helps you answer quickly.
And it works almost every time someone asks about your weekend.
Because once you know this little trick,
You will never feel stuck when someone asks, How was your weekend?
so what is this little trick?
It's actually very simple. When someone asks about your weekend, you don't need to invent a long story.
Instead, you can follow a very small pattern.
A feeling?
And one activity.
That's it.
A feeling tells the other person how your weekend was.
And the activity gives a small detail.
For example, it was relaxing. I watched a movie on Sunday.
Or, it was nice. I visited my parents.
2 very simple sentences.
But they sound natural.
And they are easy to understand.
Let's try another example.
Imagine your colleague asks, "How was your weekend?"
You could say, "It was pretty quiet. I stayed home and read a book."
Now the other person already has something to react to.
Maybe they will say, "Oh, nice. What book did you read?"
And the conversation continues.
This is why that small detail is important.
Without it, the conversation often stops.
For example, imagine this answer. "It was fine."
That's correct English,
But the conversation might stop there.
because the other person has nothing to react to.
Now, listen to the difference.
It was fine. I watched a movie.
Now, there's a small story.
And that makes small talk easier.
Actually, something funny happened to me last Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yes, I planned to go hiking.
That sounds very active for a Sunday.
Well, that was the plan.
Let me guess, you stayed home instead?
Exactly. It started raining in the morning.
Classic weekend problem.
So instead of hiking, I stayed home and made coffee.
Honestly, that also sounds like a nice weekend.
It was actually very relaxing.
And that's already a perfect weekend answer.
Right. If someone asked me on Monday, "How was your weekend?"
You could say, "It was relaxing. I stayed home and made coffee."
Very simple.
And very natural.
What about you, Lily? Did you have a calm weekend?
Mostly yes, but I did something a little different on Saturday.
Now I'm curious.
I tried a new tea shop in the city.
That sounds very Lily.
Of course, they had so many different herbal teas.
Did you find a new favorite?
Actually, yes. Chamomile with a little bit of lemon.
That sounds really cozy.
And again, that's also a perfect weekend answer.
Let's imagine someone asks you, "How was your weekend?"
You could say, "It was really nice. I tried a new tea shop."
Now, the other person might ask, "Oh, really? Where is it?"
Or, "What kind of tea did you try?"
And suddenly, the conversation becomes longer.
That's the power of small details.
Small talk grows step by step.
First, the feeling,
Then the activity.
then the next question.
And then the conversation continues.
Many learners think they need perfect English for small talk.
But that's not true.
You just need simple sentences.
And a small detail.
Actually, there is another thing that helps a lot in these conversations.
Yes, something that many learners forget.
Because small talk is not only about answering.
It's also about asking something back.
When someone asks about your weekend,
You can also ask about theirs.
and that makes the conversation feel balanced.
For example, imagine this conversation.
How was your weekend?
It was nice. I went for a long walk on Sunday.
Then you can add a very simple question.
Something like, "How about you?"
Or, how was your weekend?
That one small question keeps the conversation going.
And suddenly, you're not only answering,
You're sharing the conversation.
which is exactly what small talk is about.
Two people sharing small moments.
Simple stories.
And easy English.
But sometimes learners still feel a little unsure in these situations.
Especially when they don't know what activity to mention.
So, in a moment, we'll show you some very easy weekend ideas you can always use.
Even if your weekend was very quiet.
Because normal weekends are actually the best weekends for small talk.
Exactly. And that's something many learners don't realize.
Right. They often think their weekend needs to be interesting,
But most weekends are actually very simple.
which is perfect for small talk.
Because simple things are easy to explain.
And easy English is always better in small talk.
Exactly.
But many learners still ask themselves something.
What's that?
What if my weekend was actually very normal?
Honestly, that's completely fine. Most weekends are normal.
Exactly. And that's actually what makes small talk easier.
Because normal things are easy to talk about.
For example, you watched a movie.
You went for a walk.
You visited your family.
Or maybe you just stayed home and relaxed.
All of these are perfect small talk answers.
Let's imagine a typical Monday morning again.
You walk into the office.
Someone smiles and asks, "How was your weekend?"
You could say, "It was really relaxing. I stayed home and watched a movie."
Or maybe, "It was nice. I went for a walk on Sunday."
Or something very simple like, "It was pretty quiet. I just relaxed at home."
All of these sound natural
And they're easy for beginners to say.
because the sentences are short.
And the idea is simple.
A feeling,
And one activity.
that pattern works almost every time.
Actually, I think many learners underestimate simple answers.
That's true.
They think their English needs to sound impressive.
But small talk is not about impressing people.
It's about sharing small parts of your life.
Even very ordinary moments.
For example, last Sunday I had a very quiet afternoon.
That already sounds relaxing.
I made a big cup of chamomile tea and read a book.
That sounds exactly like your kind of weekend.
It really is.
And that's also a perfect small talk answer.
If someone asked me, "How was your weekend?"
What would you say?
Maybe something like, "It was really nice. I stayed home and had tea and read a book."
Very natural.
What about you, Jack?
Mine was also very simple.
Let me guess, coffee was involved.
Of course.
Naturally.
On Sunday morning, I went for a long walk.
That sounds very peaceful.
It was. And afterwards, I sat in a small cafe and had coffee.
That already sounds like the perfect weekend sentence.
Exactly. If someone asked me, "How was your weekend?"
You could say, "It was really relaxing. I went for a walk and had coffee at a cafe."
Again, just two small details.
But they create a clear picture.
And that makes conversations easier.
So let's quickly remember the idea from today.
When someone asks, "How was your weekend?"
You don't need a long story.
just remember two simple steps.
First, describe the feeling.
For example, nice, relaxing, quiet.
Then add one activity.
I watched the movie. I met a friend. I went for a walk.
Feeling plus activity.
That's all you need.
And if you want to keep the conversation going,
You can ask something back.
for example, "How about you?"
Or simply, "How was your weekend?"
That small question keeps the conversation balanced.
Because small talk is always shared.
Two people sharing small moments.
Simple stories.
And easy English.
And very often, after you talk about your weekend,
The conversation naturally moves to something else.
people start talking about what they like to do in their free time,
The things they enjoy doing.
their hobbies.
So, in our next episode, we'll explore how to talk about your hobbies in English,
In a simple and natural way,
so you can keep the conversation going.
even after the weekend question.
Thanks for spending a few minutes learning English with us today.
We will see you again very soon.
Thanks so much for spending time with us today.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and learned something new without even noticing it.
If you like the English Adventure podcast, make sure to follow us and listen to more episodes.
And remember,
You don't need to be perfect to speak English.
you just need to start.
See you in the next English adventure.